All right, guys, we are here. Happy Wednesday, June 14th, coming to you from my dining room. I'm just switching up my environment because I've spent so much time upstairs, but I'm coming to you excited, alive, full of tremendous levels of passion. And as always, I am full of immense levels of gratitude. Now, mind you, we have guests on the line today, but we have tons of team members on the call today. And I rarely talk about the company and stats and things like that. I just don't feel like this is the platform for it. However, I am super, super excited about the information that was dropped yesterday about fast real estate and what you guys have been able to accomplish. We're the #1 team for volume in Northern California and #2 in the state. And so you guys, when we think about for units, when we think about the magnitude of what's been able to be created in just a short couple years, right? We started this team in January of 2020. Think about where your business could be in literally 2-3 years if you just put in the sweat, if you just put in the fight, and if you just made no excuses over the next 2 to 3 years. Where can your business be? I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. I've learned so much. I've taken tons of knocks on the chin, but I'm so stoked about where we are, what you guys have accomplished, and how we are recognized in this industry. And so I want to share that with you. I'm very, very excited. So what I would do if I was you guys is I would take that video. You could see it on the Fast Agents. You could see it on mine. You could see it on Kenny. And I would start sending that out to people that you know in the industry and be like, hey, you guys, if you're thinking about joining a team and you want to be around people that are growing, growth-minded, that are relevant, that are really on the edge of what is happening in the real estate market, we would love to talk to you about what that looks like. So that's my plug on that. I'm just full of excitement about that information. So I would recommend that you leverage that to the highest degree and do whatever you can with it, because this is a big deal for our company and it's a big deal for you guys because you're a part of this amazing organization. So let's do this. I'm actually going to turn it over to, let's see, Joellen. I haven't seen you for a few sessions, so I'm going to turn the mic over to you. I love when you're here. So Joellen, I'm going to have you take the mic, and here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you take us out on the field. Tell us one personal win, one business win, and then what is the main challenge that you're facing right now? Let's go and let's have you take the mic and run with this. So let's go, Joellen.
Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Glad to see everyone. I know we're all like hustling hard right now in this market. So you're here and you showed up. So big pat on the back. One personal win this week. Gosh, just getting a couple listings that are going live. What was the other one? What's my
personal win, a business win?
Personal win. What's going on? Personally, everything's going good. Just, doing a lot of reading, reflecting, just feeling good. And then the negative is not getting into the gym every day and working out. Like I am struggling with that, and I just want to stop that.
All right, cool. So biggest challenge for her is getting into the gym. So if you guys that are on your fitness journey, if you guys are out on a walk, Chris, I know you take your morning walks in the morning, just send Joellen a text message. Jess is in the gym right now. Justin tunes in from the gym, Jeff, all these people. So let's just send her some love and light and be like, get your ass up, because my ass is up and I'm at the gym and I'm sweating already. And even I do workouts in the evening time. I'm not an early riser working outer type of guy. I'm a research and read type of guy in the morning time. But you have tons of people that will hold you accountable. Jess, you had your hand up really quick. What was your contribution?
Joellen, I'm going to send you a text for accountability if you're interested. Let me know.
I love that. Thanks, Jess.
Okay. You're welcome, baby. All right.
So quick question for everybody. If you've signed up for Agent Intensity, please raise your hand or give me a reaction on the screen below. Please, if you've signed up for Agent Intensity, please raise your hand. If you don't know what that is, check your emails. All right, cool. So how many people feel that if we're going to do Agent Intensity, which is just a 4-week sprint, how many people think that there should be a working out component to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, Joanne, that might be the group for you. Not saying
okay,
it is.
I'm signing up. There you go.
Shameless plug, right? Shameless plug. So was that a thumbs down, Dominique? Wait, what was the thumbs down for the working out portion of it?
Yes, my daughter is out of school. I hate working out at home. It's the worst. I got to get out, but then my schedule is shifting.
All right, we'll talk about that on our first call. However, I do know it's important, but let's go right into the conversation. So you guys, I'm gonna pull up a couple links, a couple resources, and a couple market trends that we are seeing right now. And this goes across the entire state. If there's any lenders on the call today, please raise your hand. I would love to turn the mic over to you guys and ask you any questions about the market. But what we are seeing, and it's been happening over the last couple months, is that you guys will continue to see prices go up right now in markets such as Oakland Hills, such as Berkeley. There is some severe competition right now. We're talking multiple 100, 200, 300,000. So this is a crazy market right now. And it's crazy to think that the demand is so high, even though there is so many sellers that are choosing not to move because they're sitting on an interest rate that is pretty low and they just feel like there's no desire for them to move right now. Even with that demand for buyers is still up. And I want to share some thoughts with you and share some research with you and share some articles with you. That way you could take a deep dive into that. And then you guys can formulate your own message as you guys are building this, enhancing, so on and so forth. So I want to share a couple thoughts with you guys this morning. And then I want to ask you guys what you're actually seeing in the market. What are you experiencing? What's happening with the offers that you're writing? What's the communication you're getting back? What are they going into contract at? All of that stuff. I want to unpack the conversation today. But here's some information that was released by CoreLogic, Black Knight, and Zillow, and all show continued slow supply of homes led to increasing rise in home prices. We know that it's the basic conversation about supply and demand. When the average is annualized, and I didn't know what annualized mean, it meant meaning of these trends continued at the same pace through 2023 until the end of the year. We could potentially see a 12% increase, or excuse me, a 12% appreciation in 2023. Most likely it's not going to hit that high level at 12%, but it's still going to be a big number, especially considering that so many sellers are holding off right now because of their current interest rate, like I said. So here's what I'd recommend that you guys do. I'm going to send you guys to a couple places right now, and I'm going to provide the links to you guys so you guys can do some research. So there is a company out there called Black Knight, and this was a really incredible article. I'm just going to share this article with you guys so you guys see it, you have it, and you guys can do your own research and unpack this conversation. So there's one for you guys right here. Also, there was this report that came out from Barry Habib, and it talks about exactly what we're mentioning right now. So there's three things in this report that I want you guys to take a look at. More signs of home pricing strength. Has the job market reached a turning point? And why recession talk in Europe matters here in the United States of America. It states here that CoreLogic Home Price Index showed that home prices nationwide rose by 1.2% from March to April and were 2% higher when compared to April of last year. We see no signs of home prices going down. And so if you're having a buyer that is on the fence about this lame ass excuse that we want to wait until prices go down, you guys need to unpack this information. You need to provide this information for them in your buyer's consultation, and you need to dive deep into this information based on what the reports are stating and where the trends are in the market right now. When a consumer says that they want to wait for prices to come down or they want to wait for interest rates to come down, those are excuses and they're rooted in fear. It is our responsibility, our job, and our duty to make sure that we're advocating and educating for them. The way that we do that is that we provide this information. It's one thing just being able to say it. That's another one to say, hey, I came across these resources, these articles, and this information that is going to debunk anything that they're seeing in a fear-mongering headline. There's also an article here, and I want to share this one with you guys as well. Let me put this one in the chat down below. That way you guys have this. Boom. And then there is one more here. So it's, once again, it's another article about California home prices dive 36%, or home sales dive 36%. Year over year, home sales are down in almost every single market, but year over year, home values are continuing to increase. This is why right now, I'm going to challenge everybody on this call, no matter where you are, Southern, Northern, Central California, I don't care where you are in the state of California. Here's what I recommend that you do. I want you to go out over the next week and I want you to pick 3 cities that are your target market. For example, if I'm in Solano County, I'm going to do Fairfield, I'm going to do Sassoon, and I'm going to do Vacaville, just for an example here to give you context for this conversation. This is the time where we need to be so aware of every single builder, every single new development, what's going on, what's the inventory, what is the pricing, what is their plan, what is their schedule, when are they releasing new projects, when are they selling the plots, when do they start building, like what does that look like, what is the economic impact? Now we know we live in the Bay Area and there's tons of beautiful homes, there's Craftsman's, there's bungalows, there's Eichlers, there's all these beautiful homes that speak of so much design and architecture. And I think that that's what we're known for. However, those are some of the homes that are going to have the most competition. So I want you guys to really start studying what is happening with new developments, because that is a way for our economy to really mitigate what is happening with this low inventory. We're going to see more new developments popping up, and I want you guys to be on the forefront of what is actually happening. And if that means that you drive 45 minutes out, George was out here in my neck of the woods last week. He was out here touring homes that are an hour away from where the client wanted to originally start to look for homes. So you have to start looking at this and say, okay, first off, what do I understand about the market, the data? Am I looking on CoreLogic? Am I looking on Zillow? Am I looking at the Redfin blogs? Am I looking at BAM? Am I looking at all these resources? And then when I actually hear a consumer say something, how do I use this information? Right? How do I use this information to overcome an objection that a potential buyer or seller has? These are things that if you practice it, no matter what, you guys are all going to get the same objections. But there's a difference. There's a difference with the person that knows this game, that understands, sees the patterns, can speak from an economic standpoint, because once again, people are coming to us for advice, and then be able to say, okay, based on what you know, here's your challenges, here's the reality, and here's what we do moving forward. It is our job to paint a picture and clear the path for them and help them understand. But if you don't understand, then the consumer is just going to be justified with their own thoughts of, I'm going to wait until the prices come down. You know how many people said they were going to wait for the prices to come down a couple years ago, and they have no means to be able to purchase the house now? I don't believe that that is the best bet for us if we're thinking about advocacy for a consumer, allowing a consumer to wait until the prices come down. There's no signs of that, especially based on these recent reports. So I want you guys to look into those. I want you guys to really, really read that and perfect your message to market. What I want to do right now is, I think I saw a hand up. Was there a hand up? All right. I want you guys to raise your hands, and here's what I want to hear from you. What are you seeing right now from the homes that you've toured, the homes that went pending, the offers that you wrote? How many how many offers were on those homes? What was the average list price versus sales price? Like, I want to know, you guys, because you have so many brothers and sisters on the call that can lean to you for information. If Colin just wrote on a bungalow in Berkeley in Poets Corner, you might have a client that's moving there, and now you have some inside information about what's actually happening. So I want you guys to use this platform as an ability to share, to give, and provide high-level stats and data. So I'm going to come to Dan in just a second here. So Joe Ellen, let's go you first. And I want everyone, the Chris B's of the world, the people that just got into contract, Nicole, whoever you are on this call, I want your hands up and involved in this conversation. Joe Ellen, let's hear from you.
I'm just on the listing side right now. I do have some buyers that are kind of going through the whole, being pushed out, because in our market, cash is like king up here, and under 500, 600,000, all cash. So a lot of my clients are getting beat out, even though we have strong loan can close in 12 days and we're lifting contingencies. But what I was going to say is that when you were talking about the CoreLogic and that information and being able to control the narrative, I would challenge everybody to take that information and drop it into your local next door, because that's how you can control it, because you're not taking the information and micro putting it into those farms, and you'll have more reach based on that. So
all right, so walk us through that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so take that CoreLogic piece that you were showing us about the data, and then start a conversation in Nextdoor and post, oh, did you guys hear about this? Or is this something that resonates with you? Or how do you feel about this? And then you'll start to get engagement and you'll see where people are with what they believe that's going on in the market, like this piece right here. And next thing you know, you'll have like 5,000 views on Nextdoor and people are communicating their thoughts. And now those are your objections that you get to handle.
Beautiful. And you guys, that's all your content too, because the more questions that you are getting asked by a consumer, those are things that you should, hey guys, I just got this question from one of my buyers today, and I felt that it was important to answer that for everyone. Hopefully you found that helpful. For more information, tune in tomorrow. That's like the questions that you're getting asked by a consumer are things you should be asking on video.
And you're putting it in your neighborhood, you're putting it in Nextdoor, not just Facebook. So you're actually putting it in somewhere where you live or, you know, the surrounding areas.
Beautiful. And now Liz, for some reason, if it's not working, I just tested the links once again from the chat. I'll make sure that Judith puts that in market updates channel. So you guys have that. So Joanne, let me ask you, active listings right now, what are you seeing? What's the competition level like? What are people doing right now that are standing out in regards to buyers agents? What are you seeing on the offers? Like, tell me, other than the cash offers that are winning, what are you seeing?
This last week in our area of Carmichael, we have a really nice listing and it was quiet, really quiet. So I don't know what's going on, but in our little pocket right there, this last week was super quiet. We only had like 5 buyers each day compared to like the 22nd of May, there was like 20, 30 buyers out.
Is this listing higher for that market?
What was that?
Price point higher for this particular listing for that market?
Actually, no, we're priced under. The house sold across the street for $675 all cash, and we're priced at $665.
Yeah, why do you think you're not getting the amount of traction?
I'm not sure if it's because maybe graduations the last couple of weeks, it's a little slow, maybe because of that. I don't necessarily think it's the interest rates though, because I don't know. I don't think it's the interest rates.
I'm glad you talked about the graduation because I saw this video 3 days ago, and I think it's a really powerful approach. Like if you're looking for a sign, literally they delivered the sign for Larissa because she just graduated and that's in our yard right now. So it's super cute. Well, those are your potential empty nesters, right? Those are your potential empty nesters. Even if it's not this year, in the next couple of years, congratulations, I saw the sign. I just wanted to ask. A lot of people are now looking at the future and what that looks like in potentially empty nesters. Do you fall into that category? Wonderful. What are your plans? Awesome. I would love to have that communication with you and talk to you about our strategy. You guys, you've seen those signs all over. If you're driving around looking at homes and you see a sign in the yard, literally just stop and have that communication with them, because those are the people who might be moving.
Or go on your Nextdoor app and say, congratulations to all the kids that just graduated in the community. Did you have somebody who just graduated? Now you got their name.
I mean, there's somebody that is using Nextdoor at a very high level. So I love this. All right. So Dan Sundberg, let's hear from you. Quick market update from you. What are you seeing? What are the nuances? What is the pattern? And what kind of communication are you having with consumers right now? Dan Sundberg, let's hear from you.
Hey, and sorry, my video's off. My audio is really laggy, so hopefully this is you can hear me all right. I wanted to share a market update experience that Cynthia and I just had. I thought this was kind of relevant. We just submitted an offer. We're partnering on a deal for a buyer out in Rodeo, Crockett area, and we submitted an offer on a house that had been on the market for I think 120 days, listed at 575. They pulled it off for like 2 weeks at the beginning or the early May, and they just put it back on the market at the same price, cleared it out a little bit, touched it up, but didn't really do a whole lot. And within 12 days, we made our offer and another buyer made an offer, and it's now we're like $15,000 or $20,000 over asking price. So like the house had been sitting for 3 or 4 months at that same price. They pulled it off, they put it back on, and now, you know, we're in multiple offers. Not a crazy number, but enough that like, you know, now we've got competition. So I thought it was very, very interesting that they didn't do very much, and now the house is going to be under contract.
And Dan, do you just chalk that up to timing? Like it just the timing of the market right now, is that what you would chalk that up to?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think the houses that have like, you know, 60, 80, 100 days on market always have a little bit of a stigma to it. And so them pulling it off, putting it on right now, which is just a really good time for sellers to be selling, it worked for them. I do think they cleared the house out a little bit, so it showed a little bit better, but I don't know that I don't know that it was so much better that it's the only thing that explains why it sold so fast this time when it didn't sell at the exact same price for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think market timing.
Yeah, the season, market timing. People are starting to see that, and less and less am I hearing this conversation about interest rates. Because you guys remember when Instagram was blowing up with the 2-1 buy down videos? And just think about this over the last couple of weeks. Have you seen a lot of the 2-1 buy down videos? I personally haven't, or maybe they're just washed out and I just haven't seen it. It's just a different sentiment. So just like you're not seeing that, it's because the message is changing now, right? We know that there's buyer demand out there. We know the supply, but like the sentiment is changing amongst buyers right now. They're feeling like, man, I need to get out there and start competing. This is a very exciting time for buyers, and it's going to be a very challenging time for buyers. And so I'm really glad we're having this conversation. Who wants to go next? Let's go KD, let's go Chris. Who wants to have a conversation about what they're seeing in the market right now? People that are putting up a high amount of deals right now in our environment, like what are they seeing? So we'll come to Dominique, we'll go to KD. So Chris, you go first, KD, then we'll go G, we'll go to Amina. Let's go Chris B.
Yeah, even with these higher interest rates, I'm seeing this crazy activity right now. Priced one of my listings higher than I wanted to at the time when I consulted with my seller, a couple months ago, and I didn't want to go higher than, I didn't see the house going higher than 850. She bought it for 890 all cash, not too, like a year ago, and had to move, so she wanted to try to recoup most of her money. I told her that I would, I'll start high, but if we don't have any activity, then I would drop the price. And she was okay with that. Well, needless to say, we got 3 offers and I got the price. And there was recent comparables that supported it. I met the appraiser out there and it's actually appraising. So within just the last couple of months, that shows that prices have been rising just in the last couple of months. That's proof right there, because it wouldn't have appraised 2 months ago. And now it's appraising for 30, 40 grand higher than what I thought it would by the time that we got an offer in and accepting an offer about 3 weeks after I listed it. So prices are rising with my buyers right now. On the last offer I got accepted, there were 15 offers on the table. We won that one. The offer prior to that, there were 30 offers on the table on a $350,000 home. So you can expect here in the greater Sacramento area, if you're under 400, you're going to have 10, 15 offers. If you're, 5 to 7, you'll probably have 10 offers, 5. If you're 8 and up, you'll have a handful of offers. So in this environment, it's really, you got to try to set expectations to your clients properly, both sellers and buyers, let them know exactly what's going on right at this moment with the current stats like Elias has showed us. And just be that advocate, and then to spread the light and truth of what's really going on. All data even keeled. You're not fear mongering or making them scared that they're missing out. You're just letting them know that here's what's going on in this market right now. Historically, real estate, you won't lose real estate historically. Are you staying there 5 years or so? Then just make the move if you can afford it, because it's getting pretty bleak with big corporations and other countries coming in, buying up all our properties, and Blackstone gathering and crowdfunding another 30 billion to buy more single family residents. That's just what's going on right now. So everybody needs to just educate your clients and be confident. You're the professionals on the #1 real estate team in California. So go out there and make it happen.
I love it. So Chris B, let me ask you, man, and I know that people will try to get creative with the way that they write an offer. So I want you to think about this from a buyer standpoint, as well as from a listing agent and what you're receiving. You're up against your buyer. You're going into a competitive situation. Your agent has told you that there's multiple offers on this home. In order to win, you're going to need to bring that purchase price up into a range of X amounts, right? So just context here. Well, that agent is not that skilled. And so what that agent says, okay, let's just go at our highest and best, but we're going to keep that appraisal contingency in. So in case it doesn't appraise, then we're going to come back and try to renegotiate. What do you say if somebody's trying to do that strategy, knowing that it's a weak ass offer. It's a weak ass offer because I don't believe that it's strong enough to fight against the other offers. What do you say to something like that? If a buyer wants to go in with that type of strategy?
Oh, I would let the buyer know that the market right now is so competitive. I'll run comps, let them know here's what I feel like the property will appraise for. A lot of times listing agents will either price it on the money, maybe a little higher, a little lower. So you gotta let your clients know that they're pricing it lower. Here's what's gonna appraise for. So expect offers coming at this. How much are you willing to pay over the list price from the comparables that I ran in case we don't get the appraised value? Just let them know. Sometimes they'll come up and say, you know what, Chris, we love the property. You know, we're willing to go 15K above. Then you set your contingencies with no appraisal contingency to a 15K limit. And if anything more than that, you would keep it there. I've used stuff like escalation clauses that worked for me. I even Cortez used it on used escalation clause with a verbiage I provided him and got actually into escrow on a deal with it with an agent. So there's just a lot of different techniques to use, but it pretty much comes down to terms. The last client I got into escrow, we gave them 3 weeks free rent back because I knew that they were going, they needed 3 weeks time for their move, going out of state. And I told it, so I threw that in the offer, 3 weeks rent back. And that was the icing on the cake for us to be able to get it done as well as match the highest offer, which fortunately the agent kind of, you know, let me know what's going on and what's on the table. And that's a big deal as well, is building that rapport, having the agent really comfortable with you when you're having those conversations, when you're having those texts, when you're having those emails with them, because agents want to work with people they like. And if you lack professionalism and you sound like you don't know what you're doing, you know, even if you're a rookie, sound like you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's perception to reality. You sound like you know what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're new, if you're a 17-year vet like me, just sound like you know what you're doing and just connect with them, because that goes a long way, as well as being with your having all the terms properly. Yeah.
So really quick question here. So I love this question. So how do we set an appraisal cap on the RPA? Is it L2? Is it on section L2 on the RPA?
I normally have, I'm not sure about what section it is, but wherever the section, you could even write a connecting addendum that states that that the buyer is willing to cover any negative, any cost lower than the appraised value up to a maximum of 15K. So say it appraises 30 grand lower, the one's going to cover 15K. So you just got to put the verbiage either on the form or on a connecting addendum specifically to the cap that your buyer's willing to come out the pocket in case of a lower appraisal.
Wow, beautiful.
And what I'm seeing also with sellers right now, a lot of them are on a tight budget or whatnot. Like, you don't even have to like go all out and remodel their house to get top value right now.
No.
It's in our best interest to make sure they make their money, they keep their money long, and we look after their money and treat it like it's ours. So it's just like, you know, so I just do the bare minimum, some fixtures, lights, paint, landscaping, and all that. I let them know, do this, give me a clear section 1, give me a roof certificate, do what I say, throw 20 grand in it, I'll get you 80 grand more than 100 grand more. Because that's the market right now. You just got to make it look good and have it clean. You don't got to go all out right now. If it's like so much inventory, you got to go all out. So you got to adapt with your strategy, with your sellers and buyers, with the current times. Now, as long as you're doing that, staying informed, talking with confidence, building rapport, and letting people know that you're about your business, like you're going to make it happen no matter what the market does, you know. That's how I'm seeing it. Just everybody stay strong, stay level-headed, don't never quit, and just be that 25% of the agents that are adapting and doing the right things so that when the market changes, abundance will come into your life.
God, and you know, think about this, 17 years, he has seen market shift, but he's been able to stay ahead because he understands what's happening. He researches, he advocates, but there's also a level of confidence when he speaks. You guys can hear it, you can feel it. you get a sense of this guy understands what is actually happening in the market. And so I really appreciate this breakdown, Chris. Let's go over to Dominique, then we'll go over to KD. So Dominique, what are you seeing? What are some trends? What are some patterns? What are some nuances and some things that you're hearing and chatter, everything? Let's just hear from you.
I'm seeing a big uptick in the market, and I actually had a client just kind of test me. We closed in Tracy, and she texted me and said, "Hey, there's a house that just sold, same model match, and it sold 30K over ours. It looks like our buyers got a really good investment." So I was like, "Oh my God, she's testing me." So I had to do my research, and so. But I like things like this because it makes me step my game up on learning like what the market is actually doing. So what I did was, because I have one that's pending and I needed to look at what the market trend is because we're going to door knock with that. So what I'm seeing is that we all know it started off slow. But for instance, in January and February and March in Antioch, we had like 50 to 60 sales. In May, we had 95 closed sales. And so that's like that's a pretty good jump there, especially in Antioch. And so what we're seeing is more buyers coming in and putting their offers in. And then in Tracy, we're seeing the same trend. So in January and February, we had like 30 closed sales, and in May we had 68 closed sales. So we're seeing the jump in the market. And so what I combated with my client was because I think she felt like maybe, I don't know, we didn't try hard enough for her, but we had 8 offers on the table. And so what I did was I went back to her and I told her that we had, there's currently in the market only 3 new homes, 3 new listings that actually came on the market within the criteria of our home. And that's just the numbers, right? Like a 3.2, close to 14, 15, 1600 square feet. So being that there was very little on the market within their criteria of their home, somebody came and probably bidded way high because they needed it. And then there's only 26 single story homes active. And so maybe they really needed the single story. So I kind of just had to explain the market to her. But how I did that was I had to get my numbers, right? But helping me get my numbers helped me understand that the market was moving, but it wasn't moving as well. And now May was our best month in both Antioch and Tracy. And so I just kind of put those together to see, exactly what the trend was. And the trend looks amazing. 68 sold in May and for Tracy, and 95 closed in May in Antioch. That's good. And I can only see the trend going up from here. And I think it has a lot of adaptations from lenders that are coming out with programs and pushing the programs more. And it's helping these first-time home buyers too get into situations where they have assistance, because our Antioch had 13 offers and only 2 were conventional. The rest were either buyers that had first-time home buyer loans, or they had some type of assistance that they were doing through a program. So I think a lot of the big push is that they're getting really creative with their programs, and they're really pushing them now. As far as before, they didn't really need to push the programs and the assistance, but now that they're seeing that there's a hesitance with buyers, they are getting really creative with what it is that they're doing. And I see Christina Nunez doing the same thing. She has a credit, and they're doing the 1% buy down for buyers. So there's things that are helping buyers get in this and stay in it.
I love this. I love this. You guys, a report came out. It said 37% of all buyers right now use some type of down payment assistance program to allow them the ability to have advantages, right? That could have been in the form of a grant. I remember we sold a house in Havens Court a couple of years ago, and they got the what is the grant? Anyways, it's $17,000, $10,000 in form of closing costs, and $7,000 in form of closing costs, $10,000 in form of a grant. And that $17K put their offer in first position. And so I agree with you, Dominique. People are just getting more creative. There's more programs and there's more things that are going to come to really, help these buyers get into homes. So I love the research. I love the data, because let me ask you a question. With your Tracy property, when did you hit the market? Did you actually go live in April and close in May?
We went live we went live April. Yes, April, and closed in May. Yes.
Yeah. And so then
Yes.
when you think about this, you guys, May was the largest increase that we've had this year in home value. So it was literally a month ahead. If she would have put that house on the market in May and closed June 12th, it would have been a totally different scenario. So I love how you said it. Well, wait a minute, hold on, Mrs. Seller. Let me actually share with you. And wonderful way to like say, hold on a second.
Yeah, because I was like, hold on, she's testing me here. I don't like this.
Yeah.
No, but,
hey, so now we know you can't test Dominique because she's going to win with her data. So I absolutely love this. Good stuff. Let's go to
Can I
Kate.
just say one more thing? Sorry.
Please.
About the appraisal addendum, asking them to cover the gap. We did that for our Antioch listing. So we knew that more than likely it wasn't going to hit 651. So that's what we are in contract for, because there was nothing in the neighborhood that sold for that much. So they came with it and we said, hey, we're going to accept your offer. You've got somebody on your heels here. However, if you can cover the gap of 15K, you can get the house. And like nothing, they were like, okay, we'll do it. And sure enough, our appraisal came in under and we were able to get our price.
Beautiful. I love this. I love this. You guys are hearing this from both sides. It's a really powerful conversation. KD, let me hear from you, big dog, and then I'll come right over to you, G. What are some things that you're seeing, hearing, feeling? You're on both sides. You're working Tri-Valley, but you'll obviously work other markets. What are some things that you're seeing right now?
So we did a deal in San Jose in March. This was a lead from open house. We converted him right away, and then we put an offer, and the offer got accepted. And we had to go back and forth with the listing agent. Like Chris mentioned, you gotta have a really good rapport with the listing agent. And even from the beginning, like when we picked up the open houses, I was really close with one of the agents because it was co-listed, and I was updating him about the open houses, like how many people came in and all that. And later on, once we picked up the lead, I tried to get all the details from the listing agent, what do we need to do in order to make this possible? Do you have any other offers on hand and everything? And he pretty much was open to it. He gave me all the details, this is how it's looking like. And the comps for that property was looking at tops max 1160. And I ran my comps, Bandana ran her comps, and we were seeing it's not going to be going over that. And then we talked to the buyers and they were like, okay, that seems fair. When he looked at the numbers as well, he was like, yeah, that looks great. And just to protect him, we thought that was a safe number. And I definitely talked to the listing agent as well, just to make sure if coming at 1160 makes sense for us, or do we have any competition as well? We need to go higher in price, because our buyer was strong and they were almost putting down 55% down payment. And they were okay with doing higher price and take care of that appraisal shortfall. So later on, somebody started competing with us until the last minute. There was no one, and then another offer comes in, and they went at 1170. And then the listing agent came back to us. They were like, "Hey, we have an offer at 1170. What do you think about it?" So I asked them. I was like, "Hey, let's not do back and forth a lot like this, because this is gonna keep going. They're gonna go 10,000. We're gonna go 10,000. Give us the takeaway number for your sellers. What they're gonna be okay with." So he was like, "Hey, if you can make it happen at 1.2, we can definitely make it work." So we put an offer at 1205. We went 5,000 even above that price. So I talked to my buyers. I was like, "Hey, are you going to be able to make up that $50,000 shortfall if the appraisal comes in low?" Because that's how the numbers are looking like. And they're like, "It's not a problem. We can cover up to $100,000. I was like, "That's great. That gives us more security on that part." And luckily, the appraisal came at 1235, even 28,000 above the offer we put in at. So the market's definitely going up. There is no slowdown in this market. I'm talking about this offer was in March. And in terms of buyers, we have, with all these crazy interest rates, we have a buyer, we got her pre-approved at $1.4 million. And she's also putting down close to 300,000 to 350, and she can go even higher than that. And her thing is, we got her offer accepted in San Jose. We did a lot of back and forth. The offer got accepted, and last minute she had cold feet. She was like, "No, my area is Menlo Park or Palo Alto. I really want to buy over there." So we did multiple options for her, like, hey, if there's an ADU in the back, how much rental income you're going to be generating from that? That's going to increase your buying power, and like, all those numbers. And now she's trying to get pre-approved close to $1.82 million around that. So we definitely see like it's, with all these crazy interest rates, she's still okay with like raising her number to that 2 million ballpark.
Wow.
So people, those are serious, they know, like, right, this is the right time because there is no competition. They have survived those markets in 2020, 2021. They have seen those competitions. Now, when you explain to your buyers, this is how we approach them. Like, hey, right now you don't have competition. Interest rate is something that can be refinanced down the line, but the price you get for the property, that's not going to change. So secure that number and refinance down the line.
Wow, well said, Kitty. Well said. I love the price point. I love how much research, and I love that you're having the conversation early, right? Like, if there is a potential shortfall, where does that money come from, and can you cover? Because maybe we should look at a lower price point. I remember having a client that went $175,000 over, and they paid that with cash. They knew it was in Maxwell Park. They liquidated tons and tons of accounts, and they were willing to pay that. I thought it was crazy. We advised against it, but they said, no, we've been at this for 5 months, and they were willing to do whatever they needed to live in a Maxwell Park, neighborhood. And they're still happy to this day, which I thought was really, really crazy. But I love the depth of this dialogue. Let's go to G, and then I'll come over to Colin. Colin, you had a contribution as well. So G, what are you seeing? What are some patterns? What are some nuances? Let's hear from you, G.
So I've been sending my clients market updates for the areas that they've actually been looking in. And so when I also come prepared with when we're doing any showings with the market updates printed. Right now I have a buyer in Hayward Highlands, and some of those places have beautiful views. What we're seeing with the ones with the views, they are going for 300K over asking. And even I've seen a 500K over asking. So I always tell my clients this, like, this is what these homes, these are what people are willing to pay for these views. And it just gives them a better understanding of what they can really afford. Because I think in the beginning they were looking outside of their budget, but when you show them the comps and you show them what everything's selling for, it kind of brings them back to reality, because the list price is just the list price, right? So in Hayward Highlands right now, we're seeing on average that the homes are like 6 days on the market. They're about listed at like 1.4 average, going for about 1.5, and then that's 10% over asking. And then average number of offers on a home is about 3. And
how many active listings in the Highlands are there right now?
I think there's about, last I checked, which was like last week, it was probably like 7 maybe, and so high demand, low inventory. Open houses are crazy. They're like super filled. And I do this very hyper focus market analysis for each of my buyers so that they know exactly what to expect, because this is what we're going to be looking at before we make an offer. This is what your competition is going to be looking at when they make an offer. This is what the sellers are going to be looking at to see what they can get for their home, and also the appraisers. So I just want to like come in with all the information and get them really prepared for like what this market is really looking like in the area that you're looking in. So
can you drop your market analysis in the chat, or can you share the link?
Yeah, it's actually an email. I can do
we'll pull it up, and then when you have it pulled up, just give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna have you share it with us.
Okay.
All right, so pull it up, take your time, do your thing. We still have a couple minutes. Colin Elbasani, what's your contribution, big dog? What are you seeing? Market, let's hear from you.
Well, I was just going to contribute to what we were talking about with Crispy regarding, if you have a weak offer with an appraisal contingency, and how do you discuss that with your buyer? I always frame it as, look, if I'm the listing agent and I'm getting these offers and I see you doing what you're doing over here, I express the fact that there's going to be multiple offers, and of those offers, some people are going to have, because you don't want to say lose your appraisal contingency. You don't want to, invite liability, but I'll say, here's what other folks are going to be doing that's going to make their offer far more powerful than yours. And if I'm the listing agent, I'm picking this one. What do you want to do? As far as goes, but that's past in the discussion. As far as
No,
goes,
and stay there for a second, because I believe that just because you have the highest offer amount, and we've all been through this, if you wrote offers in your career, just because you have the highest offer amount, it doesn't mean it's the strongest. And when you're presenting these offers to your seller, if you're on the other side of it, like, all right, Mr. Seller, we have 5 offers. Now this one looks really, really attractive, but check this out. That one has an appraisal contingency. So the number looks good, but that appraisal contingency means that they can back out. And if they don't have the money to cover it, they're going to take the AMD and keep shopping. Now the second and third offer, those are a lower purchase amount. However, neither of these have any contingencies, and they have proof of funds. And I think that these are really strong. They're vetted. And so it's like, we don't always have to win on the purchase price. Our terms is what's going to really help us win and get super, super creative. So Colin, what are you seeing in your market? You obviously live in Berkeley. You've been a resident of Berkeley. Your family lives in Berkeley. Like, what are you seeing right now in the market?
I'm going to keep it absolutely real, Elias, because you like absolutely real. I have been totally freaking disengaged for the last month because I have been so incredibly disenchanted with my brokerage, which is why I am joining all of you immediately. Immediately. I'll make the announcement. I've just been sitting there like, I need to start again from zero. So I'm really excited. That's my announcement. Thank you, sir. I have only one question to you, Elias. Where are my onboarding papers at?
It was
Where are
sent
they
out
at?
8 o'clock. Check your email, because now how do I know? Because it has your middle name, which starts with a D.
Correct.
Exactly. Check your email. Check your email. So you guys, really, really good stuff. I'm absolutely loving this conversation. And here's what you'll find is that you'll find that there's just time, there's effort, there's energy put into these conversations. Once again, to go back to these 3 articles that we just kind of started the conversation. This one's from worldpropertyjournal.com. This one is from Barry Habib. And then this one is from Black Knight. Now, no matter how you're pulling your information, it's one thing to be able to read this, but you have to be able to paraphrase this in a way that you can communicate this on a napkin at a bar at the airport 5 minutes before your flight. Like literally that simple, because we're studying, we're reading, and we're understanding this, but consumers don't understand the way that you understand. Some of this is so trivial to them. They're just like, oh my God, okay, that just sounds complicated. Like, how can you take this and just really reduce it down to a 9th grade level, 8th grade level, and make sure that people understand? So that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility to become a student of everything and be able to articulate that. And you will hear me say that until I'm blue in the face, you guys. Because the people that are prepared, the people that can educate, and the people that advocate at the highest level are the agents that are going to win, right? And this also goes to your message to market. You should be able to, as soon as something changes in the market, hey guys, just want to share something with you that happened in the market today, or do a green screen on it and point to it and share that. That's how you guys do that. And so I really appreciate this conversation today. I think there were some really good takeaways. Let's go around the room. I want to hear from a couple of people on the call. We have a guest on the line coming in from Central Valley, Lydia Ramirez. Lydia, what were some of the things that you heard, key takeaways, and things that you could put into your flow? Let's hear from you.
Good morning. So I am just really enjoying that everybody that has like listings or recently did a buy were able to like come on and talk about what went right or what is going wrong. And that's like going to be really helpful for me to learn because I am completely new, 1 month into real estate. And so I want to take in all of the information, what's working, what's not working, and just learning how I can build off of that. So I just love like the communication coming from everybody.
I love it. I love it. And Lydia's she's not new to commerce. She's not new to business. She already runs a successful business. So now she's going to take her talents and really blow up in the real estate game. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here and thanks for your contribution. Let's go over to Anna Mai. Annie Mai, can you talk? Yes or no? I know that sometimes you can't. Okay, cool. So we'll do a no on that one. Let's go over to Shanice and then we'll go to Mitch. Shanice, key takeaways from our time together today.
I think as a new agent, or just like as a new agent really getting started, there's so many different fears, like interest rates and like all of this. And it's almost like it's an uphill battle. Whereas hearing what everybody is talking about today, it's not necessarily an uphill battle. Like there's multiple offers on these properties. People are coming in, people are still looking to buy. It's not only, increasing, we get money, right? But it's increasing the value of the neighborhood as well. So appraisals are coming in higher than what we're expecting. So the money is there, like it's there. We just need to really put in that effort and that work to kind of bring it all to fruition. And so it's really encouraging rather than discouraging to hear about, all of the pluses and all of the things, that are going on in the current market. Sorry, guys, my daughter, she just woke up this morning.
Oh, well, good morning, sunshine. What's her name?
Kaylani.
Hi, Kaylani. Your hair is beautiful. Top of the morning to you.
There's so much of it. Shrinkage
I
is
love
real.
this. Remember this, you guys. It's not our responsibility to convince the buyers or sellers to sell, but it's not our job to convince. It's our job to actively find the people that are ready to take that step of either buying or selling, right? There's tons of people out there that are motivated right now, despite a interest rate that's higher than it's been for the last 5 years. They're still motivated to buy a home. There's still sellers out there that are thinking about how can I leverage the equity that I have, the most equity that I've ever had in my property right now. How can I leverage that? Oftentimes we go and door knock, and I've said this and we've trained on this. Hey guys, did you know that the Andersons just sold their house for X amount? That means that there was X amount of people that wrote on this home, but we can only accept one offer. Have you ever thought about selling your home? Well, no, the conversation needs to shift. And I think if you're looking at your comps and you're going into a neighborhood that just had a sale, and say it was 100,000, 50,000, whatever that number is, over asking price. Well, the conversation when you go to the neighbor's doors is, hey, I want to come by and congratulate you. On what, stranger? I just want to let you know that you have more equity than you've ever had in your home because the Peterson family just sold their house for $100,000 over asking price, making that one of the largest sales in this community. So I wanted to ask you, what are your plans to leverage the amount of equity that you currently have in your home right now? What do you mean? Well, yeah, what are your plans to leverage? People are like, when you put it in that way, people are going to think like, well, I don't know. Short-term rentals? Are they thinking about buying a fourplex out of state? Are they thinking about buying an investment property in Indiana? That gives them an opportunity to think, not just, I don't want to sell, I'm scared. I'm at a 3.75. Why the hell would I move? And inventory is so tight, so I'm going to have to give up this interest rate, fight for new homes at a very competitive level. No, I'm cool. I'm going to stay. However, how many people have helped you leverage the high amount of equity that you have in your home at the historic amount that you have right now? Well, nobody. Well, here's what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about our home equity report and how we're helping sellers leverage the tremendous amounts of equity that they have in their home. Cool. I'm here just to share with you. I would probably, as a homeowner, be more willing to have that conversation right now. I'm just saying, food for thought, you guys. Food for thought. Think about where we are right now in the market and think about how can you help a consumer leverage the tremendous amounts of equity that they have in their home right now. Because most people, if they've owned their home for more than 3 years, probably sitting on more equity than they ever imagined. And in some cases, it is in an extreme level. So I'm gonna go to Cynthia Peterson. Cynthia Peterson, key takeaways from our time together. I'm gonna have you take us off the field on this beautiful, what is this, Wednesday morning. Cynthia Peterson, key takeaways from our time together today.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can't see your beautiful face, but yes, I can see you loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm in spotty signal right now, so I don't think the video will work, but I love coming to Wednesdays because it just really fills me with market knowledge and it makes me feel like, man, I really got to make sure that I'm keeping up to this daily on market updates. So I hope that it brings you guys the same kind of energy as well. And this is our craft, this is what we're supposed to be really amazing at. And that appraisal cap that Chris was talking about, I mean, my goodness, where else are we going to get this kind of coaching, you guys, right? To hear from a 17-year veteran, like, hey, this is what I do. I just so love and appreciate that. So thank you, Chris. And thank you to all of you guys that contributed. And I'm already looking to next Wednesday to see what's coming up. So thanks, Elias.
I appreciate you guys. Here's the thing, you guys, my job is to be a moderator of thought, a provoker of thought, and to get you guys involved in this conversation, because you guys are out there in the trenches every single day, and it's no better than to hear from you guys. And so really stoked about this conversation today. I appreciate it. Before we close out, I want to ask you guys this really quick, and it's just a question to leave you with. And I wrote this yesterday. What are my standards for the goals that I have? We often tell ourselves that we have these goals that we're going to reach. Well, you will rise and fall to the level of your standards. So if you have a goal for the year, then you have to heighten your standards and are able to reach that. I have the highest levels of standards for my business and how I operate, and when I'm willing to accept them, and I will not make excuses. That's the type of sentiment that you have to have for your business. 3 months, you guys, what do you want to create in the next 3 months for your business? What will you create? How will you be impacted? How will you impact others? What kind of income are you going to make over the next 3 months? For the people that signed up for our agent intensity, I'm really excited about that. If you guys have not signed up for it, I literally have less than 14 spots left for this session. So it's going to be a weekly accountability session. We're going to meet on Fridays. I'll do an update today for everybody that has already signed up, but that's a no excuse session. That is cameras on, that is a certain amount of conversations, a certain amount of appointments, a certain amount of videos, and there's going to be a certain amount of doors knocked in that. And now, based on what Dominique said earlier about the working out, we'll have to reconsider that. However, it's going to be intense, and it's designed to really push our business forward. So I'm excited. Now, if you don't step up and don't do the things in agent intensity, you're kicked out of the group. But you can still come to group coaching. So I don't want you guys to think like, well, you're never going to get kicked out of here. You guys have a choice, though. Are you either going to step up, do the action, or you're not? Make excuses. And that's on you, not on me. So you guys, appreciate all your contributions today. You guys absolutely crushed this session, and I am happy and I am filled, and I learned tons of things today from you guys because I'm always a student as well. So have an amazing, amazing day. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and have an amazing, amazing day. Peace.
Bye.